Hey guys, coming back at you with a UFC 249 recap. Crazy pay-per-view, crazy card that we had this past weekend. Wanted to get this video out to you guys a little sooner, but crazy week we've had so far. I'm going to be coming out with some more prediction and breakdown videos. We got 2 fight cards this week. Fight nights, free fights, so guys definitely take advantage of that. But let's dive in, my man. So what was the first fight of the night that we had?
So first fight was Ryan Spann and Sam Alvey, and Ryan Spann won by a split decision.
Okay, and I think we both picked Ryan Spann to win, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got one of our picks right there. I think most of our picks we got pretty spot on. Yeah, good fight. Ryan Spann was a little bit more tentative than I thought he'd be.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to come up a bit more aggressive, but Sam Alvey, tough veteran, got one hit KO power. I'm assuming that's probably why he's a bit more hesitant, and obviously too, with the whole coronavirus thing, it's probably affecting people's training a little bit. But man, Sam Alvey though, crazy fight because probably first round Ryan Spann almost submitted him with a stand-up arm triangle, had an arm choke, super tight. Sam gets out of that, tough veteran, ends up coming back I think in the 3rd round and clips Spann and then almost submits him with a 10-finger guillotine.
Yeah.
Front headlock type choke. Great fight though. Sam Alvey is a beast, man. Yeah, so we got one pick right. Not quite the fight I was expecting, but Sam Alvey, crafty veteran.
Yeah.
How about the next one?
Next one was Bryce Mitchell defeating Charles Rosa by unanimous decision.
Oh man,
very one-sided.
Yeah. So we predicted Bryce Mitchell to win. I think by sub. We predicted.
Yeah.
He
set up like 30 of them.
He was damn close. Holy crap, man! Is that kid just a beast on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly Charles Rosa is also a black belt, and Bryce. I mean, honestly, all respect to Charles Rosa. Anybody fighting in the UFC is a bad man or woman. But man, Bryce just dominated him on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the jiu-jitsu skills of Rosa is what got him out of some of those bad spots.
Yep.
But Bryce just kept mounting him, passing guard, taking him down at will, and then taking the back, and then setting up the twister.
Multiple.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he almost had him dead to rights a few times. So, wow! Shout out to Bryce Mitchell. Crazy fight. A quick stat about Bryce Mitchell: he's got 1 of 2 twister submissions in the UFC.
And probably the most setups now in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, at least 100% he's got the most attempts. So moving on, shout out to Bryce Mitchell. That's a studded future star.
Next fight was Vincente Luque and Nico Price, and Luque won by TKO in round 3. The huge left hook.
Yeah, man, that could have been fight of the night had the main event not been so nuts, which we'll get into later. But yeah, great fight. I think we both. I don't know that I picked anybody. Who did you pick for that?
I said it was gonna be Luque.
Yeah, I think I said
TKO, but it wasn't. I said round 1.
Yeah, so you were right in your pick. I think I said for sure it was not going to be decision.
Yeah, you just said for sure a knockout.
Yeah. So I was close. Nico Price, what a stud, what a warrior. Man, absorbed so much damage in that fight. Wanted to keep fighting. I mean, he busted up Luque a lot though too.
Yeah.
I would say the edge was that Luque was a bit more polished on the feet and quite a bit faster. You could see there was a bit of a speed difference.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also too, he did use the calf kicks really well again.
He did.
Just like he did the first fight.
Yep, and he did call that out, I think, in the breakdown. Yeah. So yeah, he knows his thing or two. Yeah, Luque looked great. Nico did look good. Kept using that lead kick. Just was, he would set it up sometimes, like half the time, and then it was just kind of slow.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was just opening him up for the 1-2 a lot. And then the calf kicks just kind of took their toll. But great fight. Again, could have probably been fight of the night had the main event not been so nuts.
The next fight was Carla Esparza and Michelle Waterson, and then Esparza won by split decision.
Yeah, I think we both picked Michelle, so that's our one pick that we didn't win on.
Kind of a weird fight.
What's that?
It's kind of a weird fight. It's like lackluster, really.
Yeah, oh man. And I never like being like, oh, that fight just sucked, right? I mean, all respect, again, goes out to these athletes. Those 2 women are absolute beasts, warriors. But yeah, just was not what I thought. I thought that was going to be kind of a sleeper fight on the whole card. I thought that was going to be pretty gritty. Michelle just felt like she didn't really get going at all.
Yeah, you could just tell she was kind of sitting back in distance and waiting. And that's why Esparza, like, she was pushing the pace really because she was just walking her down the whole time.
Yeah, and I think Carla maybe landed 2 takedowns that Michelle either got out of, or, the rounds ended up a little blurry on all the details. But Carla's shots just were not, they weren't as good as they normally were either. Like they both kind of looked a little bit off. Yeah, that was a weird one. But yeah, Carla ended up winning decision. The fight could have went either way, to be honest.
Yeah, like one judge had it 30-27. Two judges had it 30-27 for each.
Yeah.
Then one had it 29-28.
Yeah, a little weird. So, okay, moving on.
Next one was Alexei Oleinik and Bryce Verdum. Alexei won by split decision.
So it's probably the two fights that we picked for the opposite person in a row that lost.
I didn't expect Alexei to show up the way he did.
Man.
Like, dude was looking ripped.
Yes.
And also just lighting up Fabricio.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Dude, shout out to Alexei Oleinik. That I love, and it was just mostly I just know that Fabricio, as far as credentials, probably has an edge on the ground. His striking is still decent as well because he works with Rafael Cordero, a great coach in MMA, one of the best. Fabricio, that was one thing I mentioned though, coming off that I think over 2-year layoff.
Yep.
He did not look himself either.
Yeah, he seemed like very just slow.
Yeah, I mean, again, too, this is weird times for a lot of fighters and teams training. You're probably not going to get the same type of quality training that you normally would get. Yeah, he just looked a bit off. I don't necessarily. I take the Dominick Cruz approach in a lot of things as far as like ring rust. I feel like it's very individual, and I felt like for him you could kind of see that, but. Man, Alexei just came out swinging. I mean, there's a few times I thought he was going to finish Fabricio TKO on the feet and just, end up finishing him on the ground. But yeah, crazy fight. Alexei looked amazing, and shout out to that guy. I mean, he's like 58-13, 59-13, I think now.
Yeah, now.
And
42 years old, I think. Or...
Yeah. Great fight. Great fight.
Next one was Anthony Pettis, and he beat Don Cerrone by unanimous decision.
Yeah, shout out to Anthony Pettis. Team Pettis all day.
I think we both predicted like finishes, but
we did, yeah. Donald, I will say, Donald looked better than I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
I just thought three losses in a row, it's either hit or miss. They're either going to come out, look amazing because they're so motivated and they know they're kind of backed into a corner. Similar with Anthony coming off of 2 losses, because Anthony always looks amazing after a couple losses. Because, again, you usually learn a lot more from the losses than you do wins. But Anthony, I thought, looked great. I thought Cowboy looked quite good, considering all of just the damage he's taken in the past few fights.
I'm kind of like quoting what he said. He's like, his past few fights, Donald showed up. I think this one, Cowboy showed up.
I 100%.
And that's what made it fun.
I 100% agree. And something I was listening to Dan Hardy, UFC broadcast analyst, commentator, former UFC welterweight title challenger. So he's a great fighter, great analyst. I was listening to a breakdown he had of Cowboy and Pettis, and he was saying, and this is kind of something, if you're a fan of the sport a little bit deeper than a casual fan, you know that Cowboy generally performs much better when he's very comfortable with the person he's fighting. Him and Anthony are actually like real friends. They fought before 7 years ago, fought again now. They've trained together, things like that. Yeah, and Anthony, I would assume Donald had probably about the same notice, but Anthony took the fight on 20-day notice, 21 days notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a 21-day camp, a 3-week camp to fight a legend like Donald Cerrone, especially in these times where, again, that training is not going to be quite the same as normal. I thought the fight was very good.
Yeah.
Definitely was not boring. A lot of controversy. A lot of people think Cowboy won. People, obviously people swing both ways. Of course, I think Anthony won.
Yep.
Basically, the highlight of the fight was Anthony, as probably most predicted, edged Cowboy out a bit on the feet. It was, of course, it's a close fight, but Anthony, I thought, definitely was winning clearly in the striking exchanges. Cowboy did good too as well. I'm not saying he, just got destroyed, but
yeah, like Anthony ate. I might have just been one big head kick.
In the last round, yeah.
That's like a big head kick.
And I'm like, what?
Would have knocked a lot of people out.
He just brushed it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, holy cow, man.
And also, too, one thing we talked about in the prediction video was how slick Anthony is off his back. Like, Cerrone got some good takedowns, but Anthony would get him right back to the feet immediately.
Or threaten something, yeah. So that was kind of
an armbar, I think, at one point.
Yeah, that was a bit of the contention, is that people thought Cowboy had 2 takedowns, that he should have won the fight. But again, people need to understand, this is the problem with a lot of casual fans. No offense to anybody that's a casual fan, but when you don't understand is that the scoring is starting to slowly change a little bit in some states and some judges' eyes. takedowns should not count as much as they have in the past if you don't do anything with them. If you take somebody down and you land in close guard or even side control and you throw no strikes and that person eventually escapes, gets out, or throws up submission attempts, I would, if I was a judge, I would give that edge to the guy on his back.
Yep.
You are clearly threatening more danger. You know, you're scoring more if you're actually throwing strikes. And you're showing an ability to actually finish the fight in an advanced position. So that's something that a lot of people don't understand. But again, opinions are going to fly. It was a close fight, a great fight. Our boy Team Pettis all day. So
then started the main card. We had Greg Hardy beating Yorgan De Castro by unanimous decision.
Yeah. I thought that fight was going to be like round 1.
Yeah, I thought someone was going out.
Yeah, for sure. It was a little bit lackluster. I thought Hardy fought very strategic, I would say.
You can kind of tell, I think maybe the first round he wasn't like ready for like the leg kicks that De Castro was throwing.
Yeah, man.
Because that was working really well. You could see the bruising on the side of Hardy's leg.
That's right.
It actually hurt DC say you better check those.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's funny enough, I read an article that apparently Greg Hardy was taking the coaching advice. It wasn't coaching advice, but he was taking the advice that the commentators like Joe Rogan, John Anik, and DC were giving because of there being no crowd. They could hear everything.
Yep.
So that's an interesting perspective that I don't think anyone thought of, was that, you know, you might actually get some helpful advice from the commentators.
Yeah.
Especially too, you're gonna be able to hear them pretty well. Yeah, Greg Hardy got eaten up bad by those low kicks. Threw a couple of his own, but De Castro was he was lighting his leg up. Beautiful low kicks. Big fan of De Castro after that fight. He showed a lot of promise. I think that guy will be a rising contender in the division. Greg Hardy, obviously, as well, but decent fight. Just wasn't quite what I expected.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. Heavyweights, it's either a long, drawn-out battle where you see a lot more strategy than you think, or it's just round 1 KO, which, you know, leads into the Ngannou fight. We'll get to that.
Yeah. One thing that shocked me, though, was the guy didn't really gas. I know it wasn't like that much of a high-paced fight, but I expected round 3 to be really slow.
For heavyweights, though, they were going at it, I would say. It was pretty good pace for a heavyweight fight.
One good finish. The next fight was Calvin Kattar and Jeremy Stephens.
Oh, my God.
And that was, the round 2 KO with like a nasty elbow.
Who did you predict?
I had Jeremy Stephens. I thought he was going to snap his streak, so I was wrong on that one.
I don't remember what I said for that. I think I chose Jeremy Stephens by decision, so again, we were wrong on that one.
Yeah.
I feel like besides Calvin Kattar getting that crazy elbow KO, I felt like it was about the same fight I expected. Both guys have the similar styles. They come forward. They are good strikers, good boxers, good kickers as well, of course, but definitely, you know, very good hands, head movement, I would say. Jeremy Stephens, a bit of the edge probably in low kicks, you know, has a great win over Gilbert Melendez via leg kick. That was a crazy fight. Look that up if you want to see some leg kick domination. But what a nasty KO by Calvin Kattar. And that just puts him on the map in the division, I'd say. So his stock went up high.
Like, I thought Jeremy was doing well because he was landing like good leg kicks, and then he was like pushing forward. I think he actually broke Calvin's nose.
Yeah, I think
was actually landing like good right hands. Yeah. And then it was just like the crazy exchange where the elbow happened. Yeah. And then the big gash on the forehead too. Nasty.
Nasty, yeah. He elbowed him in the face. Jeremy dropped, and then I think he threw one punch as he was coming down, and then Calvin landed a nasty elbow from guard. Yeah. That cut Jeremy open. But that was a great fight. Calvin Kattar, as I said before, his stock just went through the roof. So.
The next fight was the next heavyweight matchup with Francis Ngannou and Rosenstrike. Only 20 seconds.
What was the actual time? Was it literally 20 seconds?
20 seconds of round 1.
Oh my God. All I can say is what I've been saying for a long time, which I think 90% of everybody agrees. Francis Ngannou is literally a destroyer of men. Wow. I remember why I just went, holy, you know what I mean? Oh my God. What was interesting was leading up to it, Ngannou in some of the promos was saying how Rosenstrike is just
I said Rosenstrike.
Yeah. Great guy. What Ngannou was saying was how Rosenstrike's mostly a striker, and I mean that's where Ngannou wants to be. So he just didn't feel like there was much threat, and he felt very comfortable he was going to do what he did, which he did do. So. Crazy fight. I want to see Francis Ngannou fight for a world title again. Had a good fight with Stipe. I mean, he got dominated for sure, but had his moments. Kind of got worn out by Stipe. Very strategic fight, very smart fight. You have to fight Ngannou like that. You just have to. I would love to see DC and Francis fight.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to and I would not like to, because I really love DC and I just would not want to see him get KO'd the way that Francis KOs people. But that's the fight game. But while Francis Ngannou, his stock went up, Dana White said he's fighting for a belt next fight. So crazy fight. Crazy fight.
And also quick.
Yeah, 20 seconds. You know, one quick thing before we move on. When you finish somebody in the UFC that fast, it just clearly shows that either A, you're fighting people way out of your league, right? Ngannou is top 5 guy, top 3. Or just simply you are a scary good individual at fighting, because at the UFC, this is the highest level of fighting. These are the best fighters on the planet in MMA. You don't just simply finish somebody that fast. You know, obviously in heavyweights, of course, you see quick knockouts like this, but total obliteration. So anyway.
Then to the co-main event, we had Henry Cejudo beating Dominick Cruz by TKO in round 2. We were wrong on this one.
That's right. So we were wrong on a few. Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping for the upset.
I think I was a little bit back and forth on this one. I believe I said this. I said if it's a finish, I think it's going to be Cejudo. If it goes 5 rounds, I think it'll be Cruz.
Yeah.
So I guess I was half right.
Yeah.
You know,
man,
So I love Dominick Cruz. A lot of controversy on this finish. There's some crazy things he's going on about with him and the ref.
Yeah.
I will say Henry Cejudo I thought looked great. I thought he looked very good. Was very strategic. Leg kicks.
I was gonna say, I don't think we've ever seen him like open up with like strong leg kicks like that in a fight before. I think he's like throwing him out there. Yeah, like, you can tell that was a big part of the game plan for him.
Well, and I think it was very smart because Dominick Cruz has got some of the best footwork you've ever seen in MMA. Just very unorthodox, very his own style, a very, very elusive style. And the fact that Cejudo came out right away, low kicks, I think he took a page out of TJ Dillashaw's game plan when TJ fought Cruz. That the leg kicks were definitely affecting Cruz in that fight towards the end. You could see that the leg kicks were affecting Cruz, I think, right away in that fight. So very smart on Cejudo's part. Really couldn't touch Cruz much with the hands. The reach difference was pretty evident. Cruz, you know, I thought Cruz looked pretty good. I didn't think he looked not vintage Dom. I just think that the leg kicks were starting to really take effect. The stoppage, right?
I disagree with it.
So, okay, like, give me your thoughts on it.
Well, the same thing, too. It's kind of like, even though I was riding the bandwagon of Dominick winning, of course, like, it's a little biased. Yeah. But the way I see it, too, even, like, unbiased, it is a championship fight. Yeah. So there is, like, a little bit there. It's like, you don't need to stop it as early. Like, let these guys, like, it's for a world title. Let these guys kind of go. Also, Dominick was working his way up, and there's 2 seconds left in the round. Yeah. So he's working his way back up to his feet. You can't work your way back up and also block punches at the same time as you're trying to post on the mat. So there's that. Yeah. So where I lie in it, I'm like in between. I looking at it, and I'm a huge Dominick Cruz fan. So I'm trying to come from an unbiased point. I don't actually have that big of an issue with the stoppage. Where I have an issue with it is just when you know all of the context of the fact that there is 2 seconds left in the round and it's for a world title. If I watch that and say it's just a, I don't know, regional pro fight or amateur fight or whatever, I'd be like, not knowing that it's 2 seconds left in the round and there's no title on, I'd be like, that's probably a good stoppage. Yep. Although Cruz, right, he was right away up. Didn't seem like he was out when they stopped it. That knee clearly rocked him. I mean, obviously. And he said he took response. He's like, look, part of it is I shouldn't have put myself in a position to get kneed in the head like that. Yep. And again, shout out to Henry Cejudo, though. What a great time knee. Yeah. Something that was very intelligent that is something I would probably recommend if I was going to coach somebody against Dominick Cruz. The way that he dips and moves, that's perfect timing for head kicks or knees. Yeah. Especially Cejudo being a little bit shorter, well, quite a bit shorter. Then if you look at it from, again, like the point of 2 seconds left for a world title, let it go. Let the guy go out, especially when he has to go out. Hard for the referee. I'm in between, like I said, but I also, when I watched it, I was like, he got finished, you know? Yeah. Another feeling I have about it, too, is like these guys are at bantamweight. Now, if it's someone like Ngannou's like swarming you like that and you take 11 shots, please stop it. You should have stopped it yesterday.
Yeah, right.
Like,
That's true.
If it's like someone like that, like landing shots, then I completely agree. Then I wouldn't probably have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But the fact, like we said, it's for a title. These guys are at 135.
Yeah.
He's working his way back up to his feet.
Right.
I just saw him advancing position. That's why I'm more sore about it.
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm in between. So was a great fight though up until that point.
Yeah.
It still was a great fight overall. I mean, Cejudo obviously he did win. He won by finish. There is no taking away that. But yeah, a little controversy there. So let's talk about the
Justin
main event
Gaethje.
here.
Justin Gaethje won by TKO. Really, the ref stopped it in round 5.
Yeah.
After a big shot.
Yeah. Did you choose Justin Gaethje?
Yep, I had Gaethje winning.
Didn't you choose Tony at first? You were leaning towards Tony, and then I kind of swayed you.
No.
You might. No, I don't remember.
I can't remember. I know in my heart I always said I wanted to pick Gaethje.
Okay.
I was just worried I was gonna be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to bet against Tony Ferguson. If you guys did not see that fight, you need to go watch it like yesterday. One of the best fights I've ever seen. What a masterclass by Justin Gaethje. I think a big shout out needs to go to his coach Trevor Whitman, his coach of Rosa and other great fighters. Just one that you guys might know of right off the top of your head, but Trevor Whitman, I've even heard Duke say is one of the best coaches in the game, hands down. Wow, what a performance!
A lot of great advice too, even in between rounds.
For sure.
I think going into the 5th round, I remember he kind of saw Justin kind of getting like a little excited, and he goes, "Remember last time you got complacent, you got finished."
Yeah, Justin.
And even Justin responds twice.
He's like, "Yes, sir." I love that. That coach relationship, that relationship between the coach and the fighter like that. It's just so cool to see that chemistry, and that really plays dividends when they go into big fights like this.
Yep.
You need that ultimate trust, that guidance. Man, what a crazy fight though.
Yeah.
Justin looked so good. It's probably the first time since somebody's fought Tony Ferguson in the last, 7-8 fights that they didn't get cut.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin's face wasn't that bad. I mean, he took some big shots. He got rocked, I think, end of round 2.
Round 2, yeah, he ate that uppercut.
They ate that uppercut. Just, again, I mean, two guys are swinging close in the pocket like that. It's easy to get caught. Recovered very good, though.
Yeah.
And, so his head movement, his footwork was really what was putting him into the good places to land those hard shots. Cool part about not having a crowd in that arena was being able to hear the shots land.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy. And then so when we get done talking about how good Justin Gaethje looked, his game plan, his evasion of strikes, his footwork, his head movement, his boxing, his leg kicks. Oh my God, is Tony Ferguson? That guy is not human.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Way too tough. Maybe for his own good, but it's fun to watch.
God, I couldn't respect those two men enough. Being a fighter myself and just a fan of the sport, what those guys put on for us as fans, as spectators, absolutely needs to be applauded because let's be real, pieces of them are now gone, right? They took pieces of each other from that fight, and that's what makes MMA so special and, so respectful, or so deserving of our respect as spectators and fans. But man, Tony Ferguson, I thought he looked good. Like a lot of people were like, I thought Tony looked a little off. I didn't think so.
I agree with that.
I don't know.
I've heard some things where it's like, oh well, it's like a different Tony showed up that night. I disagree.
A lot of people were like, well, maybe cutting weight twice in 30 days. I mean, absolutely, that probably did have something to do with it.
Even he says himself, he's like, it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Which, of course, he could be just, again, like being way too tough for himself.
Yeah.
And just saying that, but knowing him, just like the crazy guy he is already, just kicking metal poles already for training.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think Justin Gaethje just had like the perfect game plan.
Yes, I agree.
To beat Tony.
I think it was more so not that Tony didn't look himself, but just that Justin looked so good. He made Tony basically not be himself. Because Tony couldn't do what Tony normally does, which is pressure guys and just smother them and really drag them into deep water.
And that was one thing that shocked me too. I know that the heavy punches Tony took would obviously drain his cardio even more. Yeah. But seeing Gaethje like throw the way he was, like everything in every shot. Yeah. And also it didn't seem like he kind of had like that Tony factor where he didn't look like he was getting too tired. Yeah. He didn't like seem in between rounds kind of breathing, but then as like the fight was going on, like seemed to be doing good, pushing the pace. Even threw head kicks in there that we've never seen him throw before.
Yeah, he landed two.
Two huge head kicks.
Yeah, I think he landed them. I was like, head kick? Where's this coming from? Yeah. Beautiful. He took the lead hand of Tony. I think Tony switches stances a lot. Justin took the lead hand here, grabbed it, and then boom, threw the high kick right off of that. I was like, damn, look at this guy. Beautiful striking though, man. Wow, lot to take away as a fighter and a fan. Cannot wait to see Justin Gaethje versus Khabib.
Yeah,
I still would love to see Tony and Khabib fight. That, I think, just stylistically, it's just interesting. I felt like Justin was a worse matchup for Tony than Khabib was.
Yep.
Whereas now the same could be said with Khabib, where it's like, it's just hard to say. I haven't seen Justin's wrestling get tested with somebody like Khabib's, credentials in wrestling. So that will be interesting. But yeah, amazing fight, amazing night of fights.
Yeah.
And we got 2 cool cards coming this week. Again, all free fights. So we're going to cover those for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Always a lot of fun for us to talk about fights. We're hardcore MMA nerds. So we're really just doing what we love. But love the feedback from everybody saying that they want to see more videos like this. So coming at you with some more content, guys. All right, that's it from us. Enjoy the fights this week. They're on ESPN Plus, I believe. They're all free. They're fight nights. Amazing fights, and we'll break those down next. Thanks, guys.